Hey mama, Lauren here. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm glad you're here. And if you're a busy working mom who's trying to do it all, you've come to the right place. Today I want to challenge the idea that work-life balance is a myth, or that it's just this constant struggle that we're all trying to endure. I've interviewed over 75 working moms and worked with many more in coaching. And what I've discovered is this: balance isn't a myth, it's a method. A system, a 5-step system to be exact. And today we're going to dive into that system and talk about how you can stop chasing balance and start living with more peace, clarity, and intention. If you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to be notified every time I post new videos on systems, strategies, and routines that working moms can leverage to become more productive and reclaim their life. In addition to leveraging the 5-step system myself, I've also helped other working moms inside of the Working Mama Reset program, like Allie, who said, "The Working Mama Reset is an amazing community to be a part of. And then to be taught and learn how to make changes to your life, make it easier to be a working mom and do what you've always dreamed of from a career perspective, and also to be an incredible mom, a present mom. You can do both. You can have both, but you have to make adjustments in your life and to your work in order to do that." Or Erica, who said, "I never would have learned how to put the right systems in place to tame some of that chaos that you had when you're a working mom and you have young kids." So with that, let's dive in. We're told to aim for balance, that should be the goal. But what does that really look like? The problem is balance gets treated like it's some kind of magical state where everything is perfectly equal. Your work gets 50%, your kids get 50%, and somehow you still get time for self-care and your marriage. But real life doesn't work like that. And when we try to live up to this impossible standard, it keeps us feeling like there's always something else that we should be doing. It keeps us from fully enjoying the moment that we're. It keeps us in this constant state of stress, trying to juggle everything perfectly. And it keeps us from setting healthy boundaries, thinking that we need to do it all. And then what ends up happening is we live in this constant state of guilt and feeling like we're failing. That feeling that we're never quite doing enough. This pressure, it's exhausting, and it's based on a myth that balance means doing everything perfectly all the time. Life, not 50-50. And life isn't perfectly balanced. Working moms don't need to hustle harder in order to chase balance. Instead, they need a better system. In my interviews with 75 working moms, I started to notice something. The moms who felt balanced weren't doing it all. They were doing what matters most and letting go of the rest. They had systems, they had clarity, and they had support. They weren't trying to balance their lives like a tightrope. They were intentionally managing their energy, priorities, and time in a way that aligned with their values. They redefined balance, not as perfection, as intentional living. In order to do this, you must shift your mind. Shift number 1, redefine success. Success isn't always about the title and the paycheck. It's living a life that reflects your values, including time with family, health, mental well-being. Because when we're not living a life that's based on our values, that's when stress, anxiety, and depression start to set in. Shift number 2, it's not about doing it all. It's about only doing the things that matter most. Because when you're clear on what matters most, decision-making becomes so much easier. You stop saying yes out of guilt, and you start saying yes with intention. Shift number 3, let go of the guilt. Guilt will always be there if we measure ourselves against unrealistic standards and when we strive for perfection. But when we redefine balance on our terms, that's when we can begin to give ourselves grace. If this is resonating with you, I want you to go ahead and hit that like button. And also comment below with what's your favorite working mom advice. I want to hear it. So now the $1,000,000 question becomes, if it's not about balance, what's the method? The method is a system that includes 5 steps. Step number one, understand your values so that you can begin to prioritize your time and start living intentionally. Step number two is setting boundaries. Setting boundaries isn't about being rigid, it's about being clear. Boundaries help you protect your time, energy, and your mental space. Without them, you end up saying yes to everything and resenting it later. But when you set limits around your time, availability, and your commitments, you create space to show up fully in the areas that matter most. Let me give you some examples, starting with a work boundary. No meetings after 5 p.m. so that you can be present with your kids in the evening. A home boundary, saying yes to one extracurricular activity per kid per season so your weeks and your weekends are not chaos. An example of an emotional boundary, choosing not to respond to work emails after hours unless it's an emergency. Boundaries are not walls. They are a bridge to a healthier version of you. They make room for rest, joy, and focus. And the best part, when you model boundaries, your kids can learn them too. Step number three, leveraging productivity strategies that work for you. Productivity isn't about squeezing every drop out of your day. It's about making intentional choices. The most effective moms that I spoke with weren't the busiest. They were the ones that were most intentional with their time. Some tools that came up again and again. Things like time blocking, assigning specific tasks to specific chunks of time so you're not constantly switching gears. Morning and evening routines, starting and ending the day with structure. This creates calm in moment. Task batching, grouping tasks together like emptying the dishwasher and catching up with your mom on the phone. And here's the truth, you can't do everything. No, stop trying. Instead, do what moves the needle at work and at home and let go of the rest. Number four, parent in partnership. You're not meant to do this alone, especially if you have a partner. In many households, even when both parents work, moms still end up carrying the majority of the mental load. That means remembering the dentist appointments, planning the meals, scheduling childcare, organizing birthday gifts. It's all that invisible work, and it's exhausting. But it doesn't have to be that way. There are strategies that can help shift the dynamic, such as doing a weekly check-in with your partner, where you sit down once a week to divide the responsibilities intentionally, not reactively. Another one is mental load sharing. Create shared calendars or checklists so it's not always up to you to remember everything. Rotate roles. If one person's doing dinner, the other one's managing bath time. Or one handles drop off, the other one does pickup. Parenting in partnership is such a game changer. When both people own the household rhythm, you can create more balance and a connected relation. Step number five, building your support system. You don't need to hustle harder. You need help, and that's okay. Every mom that I interviewed who described herself as balanced had one thing in common. She wasn't doing it all alone. Support looks different for everyone, but it was always present. That might mean childcare, whether it's formal or informal, paid or swapped with a friend. A village, this could be a trusted neighbor, a sister, a group text with fellow working moms. A coach or community like the Working Mama Reset to help process the load and stay grounded. It could be meal kits, cleaning services, carpool groups. These aren't luxuries, they're strategies. And getting support isn't a weakness, it's a strength. You deserve to be supported, and so does your family. So let's stop chasing balance like it's some perfect state that we're going to arrive at. Instead, let's focus on living intentionally, protecting our time, and doing what truly matters most each season. Work-life balance isn't a myth. It's a method, a system, one that you can build step by step. If you're struggling with guilt, exhaustion, overwhelm, burnout, you don't have to do it alone. There is a community of other working moms in your shoes ready to help. If you're interested in learning more about the Working Mama Reset program and community, feel free to email me at workingmamareset@gmail.com and let's talk more about you. Or feel free to download my free Working Mom Planner, as well as other time-saving tips and resources. You can find the link below in the description. And if you want more tips like these, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out my other video where I asked 75 working moms the best tips for getting it all done. You'll love it. Until next time, give yourself grace, keep going, you've got this. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.